police arrest a Madison County mother after they say they found her toddler wandering alone in a road. What neighbors told us about the case.
How Georgetown's mayor says his city has improved its snow removal plan just in time for winter.
Heading downtown for Breeders' Cup celebrations, we're talking with inspectors who are making sure that the food you might eat while you're out here is safe.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. New tonight, someone found a 1-year-old child walking alone along a Madison County road, and now his mother faces a lot of charges.
State police arrested 25-year-old Lisa Bicknell after finding the child this morning in the Bluegrass Homes neighborhood near Richmond. And what police say they found inside her home landed her in even more trouble. Victor Puente has our top story at 11.
That 1-year-old child was found walking along this road around 10 a.m. Sarah Davis got the child a blanket when a neighbor brought him to her home.
Well, she said he was standing out on the road by the garbage can.
Police believe he may have been walking around the neighborhood for as long as an hour, wearing nothing but a dirty diaper.
The child felt even cold to the touch, even when they found him.
According to Lisa Bicknell's arrest citation, a trooper found her smoking a cigarette outside of her home and asked if the child was hers. Police say she said it was and blamed her 3-year-old for letting him out. They also write that she appeared to be under the influence of drugs. Once state troopers located the mother, they began trying to figure out why that child was outside alone. They say while they were doing that, they uncovered marijuana and drug paraphernalia inside that home. They say that paraphernalia was empty heroin filters and needle caps. They charged her with possession of drug paraphernalia and marijuana, wanton endangerment, and endangering the welfare of a minor.
That she may not have been overly concerned and didn't even take reasonable steps to try to find her child, didn't dial 911.
The children are now in the custody of their father. Police say he was home at the time but was sleeping, and Bicknell didn't wake him up.
It's not too far off US 25, which is a really busy highway. And the last thing we want to see have happen is something tragic happen to somebody's child.
In Madison County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The Department of Social Services is also looking at this case.
Rain moving into the Bluegrass tonight, and it's just the start of what's to come during the next few days. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey shows us what he's tracking on the first alert defender. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Sam. Big area of low pressure across parts of the deep south continuing to funnel up moisture toward the Bluegrass state, and that's going to be with us not only tonight, not only into Tuesday, but into much of Wednesday as well. This low still has a nice little curlicue to it, doesn't it? Well, this is what is left of once historic Hurricane Patricia from the Pacific Ocean. It crossed Mexico and into the Gulf of Mexico over the past couple of days. Now it's going to continue to lift on toward the north, throwing moisture across central and eastern Kentucky. Heaviest rains right now have been just to the west of us into parts of that Interstate 65 corridor. But over the past few hours, we've had some rains reaching parts of north central Kentucky. The steadier stuff now gathering steam from the far southern parts of the area, right on into north central Kentucky, where we've had some on and off showers over the past couple of hours. Now, as we roll ahead through the overnight into tomorrow, watch your future radar hour by hour, showing an increase in the rain just in time for the trip into work and school tomorrow morning. And as we get deeper into the morning, expect the rains to actually ramp up, and the gusty winds will follow suit as we go through the rest of tomorrow afternoon. When I come back in a few minutes, we've got a brand new hour-by-hour forecast to show you not only the timing on the rains, guys, but how much rain falls, and a new hour-by-hour wind forecast, too. Those numbers really crank up over the next few days.
Chris, thank you. And we now know the name of a man killed in a crash in Madison County this afternoon. State police say that 56-year-old Daniel Howell of Nicholasville died along Meadowbrook Road east of Richmond. They say a truck ran off the road and hit a utility pole. Police say a woman in the truck, 22-year-old Candy Johnson of Richmond, had to be cut out. She was airlifted to UK hospital with serious injuries. Police are not sure what led to the crash.
New tonight, sheriff's deputies say an argument led to a shooting at a Laurel County home. It happened around 5 this afternoon along Highway 472 near London. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says Earl Fields, his wife, and her brother all got into an argument. At one point, investigators say both men fired shots and Fields was hit multiple times. He was airlifted to UK hospital, but his condition is not known. Investigators say a grand jury will decide if charges should be filed.
Well, the days are getting cooler and leaves are falling off the trees. Those are both signs that winter is just around the corner. Georgetown's mayor says he wants to make sure his city is ready. He tells us he was not happy with how the city planned before two major snowstorms last winter. New at 11, Monique Blair has a look at Georgetown's new snow removal plan.
Georgetown Mayor Tom Prather took office shortly before two major back-to-back snowstorms hit the city in February and in March.
Every city in central Kentucky had such a hard time last winter that we wanted to make sure we were better prepared this year for the extreme snow events that seem to be happening from time to time.
So now Mayor Prather and City Council members are putting the finishing touches on a new plan with intentions on having it ready to go before the first snowflake falls.
We've divided the city into 4 quadrants so that we can have a plan of attack for each of those 4 quadrants.
Last winter, Mayor Prather divided the city into 4 quadrants, but he says the plan wasn't fully developed. Each road will have a priority number and each quadrant can be worked on at the same time. For example, priority 1 roads will be worked on first and are the high traffic roads. Mayor Prather is also working to draft ordinances that will control parking along snow emergency routes.
If somebody lives on a snow emergency route, we have to get the plows through. So we want the ability to ask residents to move their cars.
Now, although there isn't any snow on the ground yet, Mayor Prather says he is making these changes now in an effort to be more prepared than the city was last year.
People justifiably have very high expectations of how quickly we can remove snow. And it's our intention to meet their expectations.
In Georgetown,
we hope to have a mild winter, but we have to prepare for the worst.
Monique Blair, WKYT.
Hard to forget all that snow we had. Mayor Prather says another part of the plan is letting the community know the priority number of each street in the city so people know when their street will be cleaned.
The Breeders' Cup at Keeneland is now just days away, and tonight the post positions were drawn for the Breeders' Cup Classic. American Pharoah has already emerged as a heavy favorite in that race. Rob Bromley joins us now with more. Hi, Rob.
Hello, and the excitement building out of Keeneland. It is Breeders' Cup week. Post positions drawn for all the races today. And the man in charge of pulling the posts for the $2 million distaff and the $5 million Breeders' Cup Classic, UK basketball coach John Calipari, who admittedly said earlier in the day he needed to get out on the recruiting trail, but he was not going to miss this. And here it is for the Classic, a field of 10. Triple Crown winner American Pharoah, the 6-5 favorite. He has post 4. Tonalist has the rail. Travers winner Keen Ice next to him, then Frosted. To the right of American Pharoah, long shots, Glen Eagles and F&X. Smooth Roller at 15-1. Hard Aces, the long shot in the field at 50-1. Honor Code at 6-1 has post 9. And the second choice in the morning line, Beholder, 3-1. On the extreme outside. Much more coming up shortly in sports. We will have a reaction to the post draw.
All right, Rob, we will see you then. And while the Breeders' Cup races aren't until later this week, the party is already in full swing in Lexington. The Breeders' Cup Festival will bring many people downtown every night this week.
And the Fayette County Health Department wants to make sure that all the vendors out there selling food are doing that safely. Our Kristen Kennedy tonight went along with health inspectors.
Inspectors want to make this week a safe one for families who might be heading downtown to enjoy some Breeders' Cup celebrations. Before the bands begin and before the crowds come out, a pair of inspectors walk the block.
How you doing, sir? Hi, Tim. The health department.
Skip Castleman checks with every food truck and tent that sets up shop.
Ah, you guys are hill of beans.
Everyone must meet the health department's prep, cook, and serve standards.
Well, you're below 41, and that's well below 41, but let's keep it that way and get some more ice on there.
Thousands are expected to make their way downtown this week, and Castleman wants to make sure those thousands enjoy the celebrations.
Well, everybody wants to have a good time, and part of a good time is enjoying the food and everything, and we definitely don't want anybody getting sick while they're here, and that's why we're out here, making sure that they are following the sanitary conditions and keeping the food at the proper temps and cooking it to the proper temps. That way we can ensure everybody has a good time without getting ill.
If Castleman and his crew find violations, they do a next day follow-up to make sure conditions improve. You'll see them visiting vendors each day this week.
We're going to try to make it the best one here for them and keep everything safe.
They'll have live music downtown and vendors out here through Saturday. In Lexington, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
It looked like a busy night. Health inspectors will also be at Keeneland throughout the week, inspecting the kitchens and the vendors there.
Tonight, the two major party candidates for Kentucky governor took part in their last debate before Election Day.
Democrat Jack Conway and Republican Matt Bevin debating during Kentucky Tonight on KYT. When asked how they would live up to the campaign promises they're making if elected, Bevin cited his background. Conway cited his record as Kentucky Attorney General.
I'm not making false promises. I'm promising people to be a good steward of their money, because as a guy who grew up below the poverty level, as a guy who served in military, as a guy who has been a small business owner, I understand what's necessary in order to make this economy move forward.
We've shut down half the state's pain clinics. We've shut down the pipeline of pills coming from Florida. My cybercrimes unit has taken 800,000 child porn images off of the internet. We've returned $300 million to the Treasury, and we've done it while our budget has been cut by 40%. We've done more with less, and I'll be a good fiscal steward as the next governor of Kentucky.
Independent candidate for governor Drew Curtis was not invited to tonight's debate.
New tonight, Lexington police need your help finding a man they say stole credit cards from people during Big Blue Madness. Police have released these surveillance pictures of the man and the white sedan they believe he's driving. They did not say how the credit cards were stolen during Big Blue Madness at Rupp Arena, but they say the man has been using them around Lexington.
Today, a mother who died while trying to rescue her children from their burning home was laid to rest. Lori Doppelhauer, 3 of her children, and a neighbor all died in the fire last week in Maysville. She and 2 of her children were buried today at Camp Nelson Cemetery in Jessamine County. Doppelhauer was a Marine veteran.
New tonight, police have arrested a foster mother after they say they found 2 teenagers under the influence of alcohol while in her care. The Whitley County Sheriff's Office charged 51-year-old Paige Brown with endangering the welfare of a minor and evidence tampering. Deputies say one of the teenagers was taken to the hospital as a precaution. They say after finding out police had been called to her home, Brown tried to hide evidence that the teenagers had been drinking.
While the Breeders' Cup is Friday and Saturday, Keeneland's traditional fall meet ended Saturday. Keeneland leaders called it a memorable meet. They say more than 240,000 people attended races at the track this fall. That's down slightly from the fall 2014 meet. The track says on-track wagering totaled nearly $16 million this meet, and that's down nearly $2 million compared to last fall.